The Battlin Belt and the wrestling ring.
He moves left. He took one. Into the Battlin Belt it goes. He's got another. Folks, this wrestling ring may save the world. One more to go. He's got him. It's Battlin Belt. Oh, hard knocking Rockin Ring. Battlin Belt. Muscle figure packs each sold separately. New from Mattel.
All right, welcome back, boys and girls. This is Peter Renna back with another Top 10 Toys. This week, as you can see, we are looking at muscles. Now, I can figure you can guess that I have an affinity for toys of the 80s, so a lot of these might lean back towards that time, but I love these little flesh-colored dudes. They were just tiny little, about an inch or so tall little figures that you could just collect and just have these tiny little matches and fights with. It was just a fun little toy, and I did have a bunch. I don't have them any longer. I kind of wish that I did, so got a little bit nostalgic, so I might start hunting a little these little guys again. But muscles. So what does it stand for? Well, MUSCLE is an acronym. It's millions of unusual small creatures lurking everywhere. Yeah, I know sometimes I had to stretch it, but I mean, it's better than SHIELD's initial acronym, so what are you going to do? So these little guys were pretty cool little figures. When you look at like the main figurehead, the logo blasted image, it looks a little bit like a luchador. A little bit of a Mexican wrestler, like he's wearing a mask, even though he's flesh-colored. But what's weird is that it kind of reminds me, I don't know if any of you guys watch WWE, but Randy Orton just got his face burnt. And this mask that he's wearing right now really reminded me of Muscles, and that's what really kind of drove me to do Muscles this week, is seeing him do this promo with this mask, and I was like, you know what? I was thinking of doing Muscles. This clinched it, so thanks, Randy Orton. Now, with that, let's just get into our list of toys. I'm going to try to do this as best that I can. There's so many individual figures. There are hundreds of these little guys, so to try to go through the data of each individual one is impossible. Well, maybe not impossible. I just can't do it. I don't have the time for that. So I kind of group things as best I could here. So you'll just see more of a generic outline of my 10 selections of products that you could have purchased with a couple of the individuals mixed in. So with that, let's just kind of take a look at this list. All right, so we're going to start right in at number 10. And number 10 was this M.U.S.C.L.E Mega Match game. Now, this was a pretty cool board game. It came with a few figures. There were color variations. That, as you can see here, when you open up the box, it had a little wheel spinner, it looks like, and some little game pieces. But I guess the true thing that people would really like this for as muscle collectors is you get in the dark purple and those little light green guys. Looks like 5 and 5. Now, the original muscles were all flesh-colored, but then pretty soon after that, they started doing color variations, and there's like whole charts and guides and tons of information on these guys. I'm going to provide some of this in the links below and at the end of this video, but there's tons of information out there on muscles if you're interested, with people making complete checklists from what colors are available for which figure, because there, again, are almost like 240 different molds for these little guys. So there's a lot. There's a lot to collect. So if you're going to get into this, like seriously, there's a lot to do. So hit those resources, do your research, and be prepared, because there's a lot to get through. But that came in at number 10, that board game. And the reason why that came in at number 10 is because it averages about like 64 bucks. I saw a high sale of about $100 the last couple of months on that. So that's why that one sneaks in at number 10. So we're going to move on to number 9, which was, I'm a little surprised that this came in so low, because this is a box set of 28 figures. Now, this box set of 28 figures comes in at 9 because it's averaging about 70 bucks with a high of only 82. And I'm looking for maybe not sealed boxes, but complete boxes, where you're getting the box and you're getting all 28 figures that are supposed to come with it, because there were 4 variations on this box. 4 different sets of like 28. And as you can see, like this first one that I'm showing here is the Cosmic Showdown set. And that one had a selection of 28 different guys you got there. And then there was another set for, which ones are these? Trying to see if I can read the Thug Busters. So the Thug Busters was a whole nother set with a different selection of 28 guys. And then you had the comic, what are these, Comic Crunchies? I don't know if Cosmic Crunchies. I'm just trying to read. It's kind of a small image that I'm looking at on my screen here. And again, different selection there. And then the Mighty Maulers was the last one with a purple box. You can see each of these boxes had a different color as well, which makes them easily identifiable if you're out there looking. And I didn't notice a real price difference between the different boxes. So just generally, those average sales is again about $70. There's only like 6 sales that I could find where the boxes were present. So that's why that came in at number 9. And as I said, this list is going to include everything I can find related to muscles. So with our number 8 pick, I found this poster. So this poster shows all the different molds and models basically for this set. There is a flesh-colored poster, which I'm showing here, as well as a colored version, which shows some of the color variations with some of the reds and the blues and what have yous for some of the different figures. And yeah, it is an interesting little tidbit there. Now, this poster is averaging close to $80, and I saw a high sale of about $145. It's kind of crazy. 8 sales on those two. So there's quite a few posters out there, and it's a kind of nice little thing to have on your wall if you are into that kind of thing. So that came in at our number 8 pick. So we're going to roll this right on into our number 7, and our number 7 is going to be our first individual piece, and this is a piece that is like become almost like not maybe I want to say mythic, but this is the one people think of as the hard to find muscle figure that rings a lot of people's bells. They put it in a lot in their descriptions to kind of draw eyes, and that is Satan Cross. Now, this figure, I think, was the last on the dial on that list, like number 236 or so. And it is a harder to find figure. And this one came in at number 7 because it's averaging about $82, and the high is only 90, so it's pretty consistent, like a $90 little piece of rubber, little piece of plastic. Again, this is a loose little guy. He's about yay big, and there were 8 of those sold that I could find to get that average price, about $82.25. So that is the first individual one that I have on this list. So you can see he's got the the extra set of arms, he's got a shield, sword, pretty cool figure. There's a little piece on the back where you can also, I think there's a connectable piece for some of them where it was like you get an extra set of legs as well. Again, lots of variations on these things, lots of different things in different colors and whatnot. So this is a crazy thing to try to just narrow down and get information on. But Satan Cross is one of the most well-known individual muscle figures that are out there. So keep an eye out for this one, because if you do find one just in a box of junk, grab it, because this one definitely will sell for you pretty easily. So with that said, let's move on to number 6. And our number 6 is a pretty cool item. This is the belt. This is the Battlin Belt. In it, you get the belt. It's got a tiny little ring that you can put the little guys into fight, and there's little pieces on the sides. I don't know if you can't really see it in these pictures I have, but to contain little extra guys as well. I think they might have shown something in that commercial for this. And this belt comes in at number 6 because it's averaging about $90 or so. Only a few sales, but there was a high AFA graded 85 graded AFA 85 near mint sealed new in box $326 at auction. There's 20 bids on this thing. Looks like a gorgeous. Look at how bright blue that is in the picture. $326 for this. So you can see how a graded piece will do much more than a raw one or loose, even a loose box, if that makes any sense. Because the other box ones, like I said, are $90. To get $326 is a nice profit, a nice little extra bump. So with that, we'll get to our top 5. And our top 5 will start right off with the 4-packs. There are so many different 4-packs that it is near impossible to really try to price these out properly. I ran through 48 sales of these things, and these things ranged from anywhere from like $30 to over $400. So it really depends on what figures you can see inside of that 4-pack that really drives those prices. Some of these harder to find, rare, Class A's, they like to call them. There's a lot of different things you can see in these 4-packs. But averaging out all those sales, it came in at number 5, about $93 or so. And like I said, there was a couple highs that hit that $425 mark. It wasn't just one sale. There was a couple of packs that hit that high price in my little bits of research. So you can see here why this came in at number 5. There's different packs. Again, as I was saying, there's the four packs of the flesh-colored ones. There's 4 packs with the colored ones. And it really depends on what little guys you can see inside that pack. That's really going to drive your prices. As you can see here, that high-priced one is $426.01. It was sold mostly because you can see in the back, there's this tiny little red figure they're pointing out, red number 136, little class A figure, and it's because of this red guy. This big red guy you can see in that package. Sealed is why this one sold for such a high value. Again, these collectors, they know what they're looking for. It's a lot of information to take in. Do your best. Do your research as best you can if you really want to get into this. But as you can see, there's a big difference between what you can get for some of these sealed 4-packs from as low as $30 to over $400 just based on what little figures could be in there. So you got to know these little figures backwards and front to to make out. So with that said, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Number 4 is the ring. It's the ring. I mean, this is basically, it looks like the Rock'em Sock'em Robots type of ring. It's that same basic setup. You can connect your little muscle figures to the little, claw arms and grab them. You work the joystick, and you had them fight until you knock the other guy's, figure loose, basically. Well, at least that's how I played it when I was younger. So I don't know what the official rules were, but this ring set is came in just a hair over the 4-packs at about $95 with a high of $145. And that's why that's coming in at number 4. And like I said, you can see here, you get this ring, and it came with 2 figures as well. I think the lead good guy and the lead bad guy there were packaged in. Variations, of course, because this entire line is based on variants and variations. So it is what it is. Moving on to number 3. Number 3, another way that you could buy these little figures was in this 10-pack trash can. I don't know if it was a garbage pail kind of thing where they were going off this trash can idea, but these 10-packs and trash cans are also still very sought after, especially if you can see what's inside of them. And you can see that the box isn't as clear as those 4-packs, so making out what figures are in there, it's such a little bit different than you would think. That makes it a little bit harder to figure them out. And these 10-packs are averaging about $120, per sealed container. And I saw a high of about $150 on this. And as you can see, there were the flesh-colored ones and then the colored ones. And inside, you open them up, you can reseal them, you can contain your little guys in there and keep them as your little keepsake. And that's what the little trash cans were for. Those were the 10-packs, which is going to take us into our top 2. And for our top 2, number 2, we have the sealed NES game. Yes, there was a Nintendo game for M.U.S.C.L.E, the tag team match game. And a sealed game is coming in at number 2 because it's about $134.49 on average for, this is with the box and everything. So you can get loose ones. Loose ones are much cheaper. You can get the loose ones for about $20 to $25. And even things like just the manual can sell for like $35. I think I saw a sale for that. But, this was a pretty simplistic game. It was for the NES. I grew up playing it, so I remember this stuff. It almost has a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out kind of layout there, but the figures on there are a little smaller. And again, $35, you can just the manual alone, because these little things for these collectible games, which is an entirely different market and a different topic that deserves a focus as well one of these days, is these collectible games. And you can see the difference. A loose game, $25. The manual alone is $35. You get the whole kit and caboodle together, it's $135. And if you can get a sealed one, unopened, sealed vintage game, one of these sold for nearly 10 grand. I don't know if that's a true sale or not. All I know is I saw it listed there. This sealed M.U.S.C.L.E game, $9,909.95 is what's listed. I can't say the validity of that sale. It's just what I saw. So I felt I'd bring it up and I'd note it. So a sealed, unopened, vintage 1983 M.U.S.C.L.E tag team video game, about 10 grand. Yeah. But yeah, that's still number 2 because I'm not counting that one sale because, again, I don't know if that's true or not. So I'm going off the averages, which will take us to our final and top pick, which I had to go with one of the individuals that I noticed being mentioned a lot more than others on some of these boards and message boards and things. And this is the Purple Claw. Variation on the claw figure, which is a popular item in and of itself in any of the colors. But this purple one, for one reason or another, is up there. There's only one recent sale. It's about $425. $425 for this 1-inch tall, basically little piece of plastic at auction with 18 bids. So this Purple Claw number 153 is the top dog, and this was not the only sale. I saw some screenshots of other people showing these things were selling for these high prices years ago as well. So this is not a new phenomenon. These are well known in that community as some of the harder to find figures and pieces. So that's our top 10. But I don't want to just leave it there, because there were a couple of oddball things that I couldn't really fit into the list that I still think we should look at. So I got a couple of honorable mentions as well. And for those honorable mentions, we're going to harken back to that trash can 10-pack and a display case. These things used to get displayed in this big box that had multiple little trash cans in it, and the display case alone, empty, with no figures inside of it, just the display case of cardboard, sold for $315 with 16 bids at auction. Just that empty box to put those little cans in. Crazy. But that is a whole nother thing as well. Display cases and displays and boxes they're collectible. People like to have them. If they have space in their house to display them, it's a fun little thing to have your own little Toys R Us, Toy Star, Kitty City in your house, in your basement, or what have you. I don't have the space for something like that, but it would be kind of cool if I did. So you can see why that is an honorable mention. It's just the one, but it went at auction over $300 for an empty box. Crazy. Now, something else that was kind of crazy is back in the 80s, there was a connection or advertising line with Nestle Quick and Muscles. So you can see here that this little can of Nestle Quick had a little advertisement for a little free muscle inside. And yeah, so the can itself is made up with all the muscle stuff on there. And then there was a little guy, contained inside. This thing is hard to find. People search for the empty can, an empty Nestle Quick can. If you can find it, it can get you probably a few $100s. There's no recent sales to report, but I did see some past sales from years ago where this thing was, again, $400 or $500 for an empty Nestle Quick can, partially rusted, that had chocolate powdered coating inside of it. Craziness. But people like to collect this weird stuff because it brings you back. It's nostalgic. And realistically, how many of these really could possibly exist anymore? Who saved their used Nestle Quick can? But sticking on that topic, there's also the stories I can find about this promotional tube that was given out possibly at schools, where kids were given a tube full of muscles. And this tube was basically, to me, it looks like a little poster tube or even a Pringles can that had some stamps on it. And that's it. There's no muscles in here. It's just the tube with some printed stamps. I don't know if you could knock one of these off, but this tube sold for $500 for an empty tube. And people are in the muscle community are looking for this thing. It's not easy to find. A lot of these didn't make it. But from, again, what I saw from the stories that I was reading is that children received these tubes in blue with random flesh-colored figures inside. And there aren't a lot of known ones out there. And when these do come up for sale, they don't come up cheap. As you can see, $500 for an empty tube just because it had muscles printed on it, because it's a piece of history. And it's a piece of history for muscle collectors. So it is not something, to be taken lightly if you come across it. Grab it. And then finally, another thing was a promotional, I think it was actually a prototype. I don't think they ever actually released this for sale, but somehow, I don't know if copies got out or what, but I don't know. I don't know the full story of this, but there's a little Hot Wheels muscle truck. This is the hauler, the Hot Wheels muscle hauler, which I saw some evidence of some sales where this thing could go over, $1,000 for this little muscle hauler. But you got to be careful because there's instructions online, because again, this never actually came up for sale. So however people got a hold of the originals, no idea. But you got to watch out because there are instructions on how you can make your own using some of the other Hot Wheels haulers and just putting this sticker that you can print out basically on these sites. So just don't put too much into it, but it's still a cool little thing, even if you do get a knockoff or whatever you want to call it, a custom hauler. But just don't pay crazy prices. I have no idea how you would validate its authenticity or not, because again, I don't believe it actually ever came up for sale. So with that, I still thought it was worth mentioning. And that's it. That's all I got for our muscles. So hopefully, you guys enjoyed that. I had fun looking into this stuff. It brought me back. I'm going to keep an eye out just to get myself just a few of these little guys to put on my shelf somewhere, because I'm trying to recapture that little bit of my nostalgia and my youth by getting some of these toys that that bring me back. And I know a lot of people feel the same as me, and hopefully you guys are enjoying looking at this stuff with me, even if you don't buy into it, because I can't buy into everything either, but I do like looking into it. So again, thanks for spending some time, and I'll see you guys next week.